a powerful magnitude 7.6 earthquake has just struck off the coast of Aomori Prefecture in northern Japan. And this is a significant event. This quake hit at 11:15 p.m. local time on December 8, 2025, shaking buildings across northeastern Honshu and triggering immediate tsunami warnings for hundreds of kilometers of coastline. More than 90,000 people were ordered to evacuate. The Japan Meteorological Agency warned that tsunami waves up to 3 meters, that's nearly 10 feet, could slam into the Pacific coasts of Aomori, Iwate, and Hokkaido Prefectures. This is one of the largest earthquakes to strike Japan in 2025, and it carries echoes of the devastating 2011 Tohoku disaster that killed nearly 20,000 people. Let's break down exactly what happened, why this region is so dangerous, and what the ongoing threat looks like. The epicenter of this earthquake was located roughly 80 kilometers, about 50 miles, off the coast of Aomori Prefecture, at a depth of approximately 45 to 50 kilometers. The United States Geological Survey recorded it at magnitude 7.6, while the Japan Meteorological Agency placed it slightly lower at magnitude 7.5. Either way, this is a major seismic event. The quake was caused by thrust faulting along the plate boundary where the Pacific plate is subducting beneath the Okhotsk microplate. The convergence rate across this boundary is between 7.9 and 9.2 centimeters per year. That's a lot of built-up energy being released. Shaking lasted for more than 30 seconds and was felt as far away as Tokyo. In Hachinohe, the closest major city to the epicenter, ground acceleration peaked at 0.472 Gs. That's severe shaking. On Japan's Shindo intensity scale, Hachinohe registered an upper 6, which means it was nearly impossible to remain standing. Heavy furniture toppled, windows shattered, and ground heaving was reported across the city. Within minutes, aftershocks began. A magnitude 5.5 hit just 18 minutes later. A magnitude 6.0 followed hours after that. And then a powerful 6.6 aftershock struck the same morning. But the biggest aftershock came 4 days later on December 12th, a magnitude 6.7 that triggered a fresh round of tsunami advisories. Now let's talk about the tsunami threat, because this is where the real danger lies with Pacific earthquakes of this magnitude. Immediately after the quake, the Japan Meteorological Agency issued tsunami warnings for the Pacific coasts of Aomori, Iwate, and Hokkaido, with advisories extending south to Miyagi and Fukushima prefectures. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Honolulu warned that hazardous waves were possible as far as 1,000 kilometers from the epicenter, potentially affecting the coasts of both Japan and Russia. Fortunately, the actual tsunami waves were smaller than the worst-case projections. The highest wave recorded was 70 centimeters, about 28 inches, observed at Kuji Port in Iwate Prefecture. Waves of 50 centimeters hit Urakawa, 40 centimeters reached Mutsu and Hachinohe, and 20-centimeter waves were detected as far south as Sendai. All tsunami advisories were lifted by 6:30 a.m. the following morning. But here's the critical point. When the magnitude 6.7 aftershock struck on December 12th, the JMA issued fresh tsunami advisories for waves up to 1 meter along the coasts of Hokkaido, Aomori, Iwate, and Miyagi. Evacuation orders were reissued in Sendai. This tells us the threat didn't end with the initial quake. Aftershocks in this region can independently generate dangerous waves. At least 47 people were injured across 3 prefectures, 32 in Aomori, 11 in Hokkaido, and 4 in Iwate. In Aomori alone, 24 homes collapsed and nearly 4,000 structures sustained damage, including over 1,700 homes, more than 400 commercial buildings, 214 schools, and 5 hospitals. Hachinohe bore the brunt of the damage, with over 1,500 houses affected, a restaurant destroyed, and widespread reports of shattered windows and ground heaving. Liquefaction damage occurred at the port of Hachinohe, and 3 other ports, Higashidori, Yokohama, and Misawa, also suffered damage. 2 fires broke out in Aomori City. The Tohoku Shinkansen, Japan's bullet train, was suspended between Shin Aomori and Fukushima stations, stranding 94 passengers on one train alone. In total, 26 train services were suspended and 9 delayed, affecting around 17,000 passengers. And in a move that underscores the nuclear sensitivity of this region, the release of treated wastewater from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant was immediately suspended. About 480 liters of water spilled from a spent fuel cooling area at the Rakasho reprocessing plant, though authorities confirmed there were no safety concerns. Now here's where this story takes a more ominous turn. For the first time ever, the Japan Meteorological Agency issued the off-the-coast of Hokkaido and Sanriku subsequent earthquake advisory. This is a warning system created in December 2022, based on historical records showing that magnitude 7+ earthquakes along the Japan Trench and Chishima Trench have sometimes been followed by even larger events. This advisory was issued to 182 municipalities across 7 prefectures, from Hokkaido all the way down to Chiba, east of Tokyo. The JMA warned that while the probability of a follow-up megaquake is only about 1 in 100, the consequences would be catastrophic. The Japanese government's worst-case modeling for a megathrust earthquake in this zone estimates tsunami waves up to 30 meters, nearly 100 feet, along the northeastern coast, with a potential death toll of 199,000 people. Up to 42,000 could be at risk of hypothermia from the mass destruction of homes and buildings. This is the same subduction zone that produced the 2011 magnitude 9.0 Tohoku earthquake. In that disaster, a magnitude 7 level 4 shock struck 2 days before the main event. That historical precedent is exactly why this advisory system exists. To understand why this region is so dangerous, you need to understand the tectonics. Northern Honshu and Hokkaido sit above a convergent plate boundary where the Pacific plate dives beneath Japan. This part of the plate interface shows an abrupt increase in dip from about 5 degrees to 15 degrees, roughly 80 kilometers landward of the Japan Trench. This geometry has produced devastating earthquakes going back to the year 869, the Sanriku earthquake, and most recently, the 2011 Tōhoku disaster. Japan accounts for roughly 20% of the world's earthquakes of magnitude 6.0 or greater. It sits squarely on the Ring of Fire, at the intersection of 4 major tectonic plates: the Pacific, Philippine Sea, Eurasian, and North American plates. Earthquakes here aren't a question of if, they're a question of when and how big. Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi urged residents to take precautionary action. Confirm evacuation routes, prepare emergency kits, secure furniture, and stock backup food and water. As she stated, please understand that it remains uncertain whether a large earthquake will actually occur. But I would like to ask everyone to take appropriate disaster prevention actions. This magnitude 7.6 earthquake is a stark reminder that the forces beneath Japan never rest. The aftershock sequence is ongoing. The Megaquake advisory remains active. And the people of northern Japan are bracing for whatever comes next. I'll continue to monitor this situation and bring you updates as new information becomes available. Geologic hazards can't be eliminated, but they can be explained. And when we understand how the Earth works, we make better decisions about where we live, how we build, and how we prepare. If this helped you see the ground beneath your feet a little differently, consider subscribing for clear, honest explanations of Earth's most powerful processes. This is Geohazards Explained, and I'll see you in the next one.